Welcome everyone in another episode of Researcher Celebrity. Today we have Professor Dr. Ravi Mohan with us. A brief introduction about Dr. Ravi is he has done his bachelor's from H&B Garhwal University, Srinagar, Uttarakhand, and then for master's and PhD, he attended GB Pant Nagar University and pursued research in entomology. He joined Indian Agricultural Research Institute post his PhD as a research associate and then visited so many countries. And presently, he is professor of entomology at GB Pantnagar University. With this brief introduction, I would like to welcome Dr. Ravi at the platform. Dr. Ravi.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Raja, for giving me an opportunity to interact with you. Myself, Dr. Ravi Mohan Srivastava. I did my graduation from Garhwal University as told. After that, I have joined the GB Pant University for master's and PhD degree. So I had completed my master's and PhD uh, uh, from the Department of Entomology. My research area in PhD was the pesticide residue analysis. It was burning topic, particularly burning problem in the Indian agro ecosystem like that. So at that time, my advisor was Dr. P.K. Sehgal. He was a renowned professor in the area of the pesticide residue analysis. And during my PhD study, I had evaluated various pesticides residue in the chickpea and pigeon pea crop. So I had also calculated the MRL values of various pesticide in the agro ecological region of the Tarai. The Tarai is a plain area of the Himalayan agro system. And after completion of my PhD, I had joined the IARI as a research associate. And at IARI, I had just we can say evaluated various altered atmospheric conditions for management of storage insect. That, as we know, that storage insect is creating big problem, big havoc in our storage godowns, and it may cause at least 100% godown loss, commodity loss in our storage condition like that. So IRI Karnal, like that, its regional station is in Karnal, and there is very good infrastructure for management of the storage in pest in that Karnal regional station. And that regional station, I had evaluated various altered atmospheric condition like that, how to enhance the nitrogen level, how to manage the nitrogen level, how to manage the oxygen level of the go down like that for management of the storage insect pest. So this is the new type of research. So in this research, generally we have evaluated the, particularly we had find out the, we can say, particular when we enhance the carbon dioxide level in the go down like that, it will reduce the pest population. So it would be very much we can say beneficial aspect for management of the storage insect, as we know that. Continuous dumping of the lethal chemical in go down created the, we can say, contamination in our communities. So after that my postdoc or research associate, I had joined the NHRDF, National Horticulture Research and Development Foundation. It is a component of NAFED. So I worked as a assistant director NAFED in NHRDF, particularly in Karnal region. So my prime area was to manage the vegetable seed production, particularly vegetable seed production and management of the pollinator in vegetable seed production like that. So I worked there for 1 year. After that, I had applied for the university, GP Pant University, and joined as a assistant professor in College of Horticulture, Pantnagar University. But this College of Horticulture was situated in the deep remote area of the hills in Pauri Garhwal district. So my basic assignment was to, we can say, start a new college like that, to create a new college. So in that new college, just we can say established the laboratory, entomology and pathology laboratory, boys hostel, girls hostel, in all the infrastructure like that. Our work was to just establish the new horticulture college, and we have devoted ourselves in the establishment of the new horticulture college, establish preparation of the course curricula of the students, and so many things like that, purchasing of the laboratory equipment, purchasing of these. And I in this college I had established the fruit nursery like that, particularly a temperate seed nursery of the apple, peach, pear, plum. So basic work was like this, establishment of the horticulture college as well as the this fruit nursery orchard. So we have devoted ourselves in establishment of the temperate food orchard, establishment of the fruit nursery, and just college facilities. So we started the BSc horticulture program first time in Uttarakhand in that college BSc horticulture program, as well as diploma in commercial horticulture management. So we had started two courses, diploma in horticulture management and BSc horticulture program, and I had worked there for 7 years like that. So at least two batches we have just covered the two batches of BSc horticulture, and after completion of 7 years in that college, I had applied for the senior scientist in ICR. So I got selected senior scientist in ICR, and it was a moment of pleasure for me in that selection of the senior scientist in ICR. I left that college and joined the senior scientist ICR in Vivekananda Institute of Hill Agriculture, because it is situated in Almora. So again, I joined the institution having the hill surroundings like that. So again, we started to in the various aspect of the management of white grub like that, various biological methods for management of the white grub. As we know that white grub is a serious pest. White grub is a serious pest of various fruits, various vegetables crop in the hilly region. It may infest the potato, tomato, rice like that underground area of the crop. So in the Vivkas Vivekananda Institution of Field Agriculture, we had developed the various bioagent, particularly a formulation based on the bacteria Bacillus cereus. So it was very good formulation for management of the white grub. And after successful, we can say, after successful control of the white grub in various locations of the hilly region, we just launched that product as a formulation, as a brand like that. So our senior, I think, Dr. Our senior Dr. Srinivasan like that, and our team Stanley and so many scientists was associated for we can say making product of the particular with the bacteria Bacillus cereus. So it was very good achievement to have such kind of product. So only 1 year we worked in that institution, and again I get selected as a professor in Pant University, and I came back to Pant University via the ICR. So and during 2011 I joined Pant again, and again in Pant I started various projects related to the management of whitefly, various molecular aspect of management of the whitefly, and preparation of the nano formulations for management of the vegetable insects. So I am focusing particularly on the vegetable crop management. So because we can say that in my view, in Indian scenario, in Indian agro ecosystem, I always, we can say, mention a crop as an agro ecosystem. Suppose we are raising a crop of tomato, it's not only the 10,000 plant of tomato, it's an agro ecosystem completely. And the problem of, we can say, injudicious, indiscriminate dumping of lethal chemical in a particular agro ecosystem is most serious in Indian subcontinent. This is my view. And when we observe this problem with vegetable crop, it becomes the much serious, particularly in Indian subcontinent, because farmers generally use the chemical on the basis of calendar basis or suppose farmer face any problem with their crop, directly he approach to the, we can say, dealer or distributor of the chemical pesticide like that. So farmer generally apply the pesticides on the basis of the calendar basis like that, which guided by the pesticide dealer or distributor. So this generally cause the mass hysteria among the farmer like that, how to spray pesticide like that. So I have observed the data in my near about area. So particularly farmers generally use pesticide more than 10 times. In some area it may be the 20 times, or after second day farmers generally spray the chemical. I asked some farmer chili like that while in survey. The farmer told me, sir, I think at least every day we use the chemical. This is such kind of mass hysteria created by the, I think I should not say that created by the some company or other agent like that. So agro ecosystem of vegetable is facing serious problem of deposition of pesticide residue and ignorance of waiting period. I think what I have surveyed that just before harvesting of the crop, just before harvesting of the suppose tomato, brinjal, chili, coriander like that, just before harvesting, they sell. Sorry, just after harvesting, they ignore the waiting period of the pesticide. They spray pesticide just before 1 or 2 days before the harvesting. This is the serious problem, ignorance of waiting period. But I have seen, I have recorded the data, particularly when I was in Karnal, farmer was using the carbofuron or granular insecticide just before harvesting or 1 day before harvesting. So it's a serious problem because carbofuron have waiting period of 62 days. So if some chemical have waiting period of 62 days or 15 days, why farmer use this chemical before harvesting? This is due to the misguiding of the company agent like that. Company agent misguide the farmer that you use the chemical before harvesting. It have some phytotonic effect, and during the, we can say, this effect, your coriander, your tomato have some signing effect like that, and you may get the good price of that. So this mishandling of the pesticide, injudicious dumping of the pesticide in the agro ecosystem leads to the serious problem of deposition of pesticide residue, resulted in the various ill health effect to the human being. Number one. So this problem enhanced when we discuss the particularly vegetable crop, because we eat the raw salad. Particularly, this is my recommendation that eating raw cabbage, cauliflower, tomato, particularly in the NCR region, near about the Delhi region, is harmful for our health. No pesticide detection facilities is available near the Ajadpur Sabji Mandi. In my recommendation that there must be pesticide detection agency must be established, because the government must establish pesticide detection agency near about the vicinity of the all vegetable growing area, and there must be, we can say, strict law for dumping of the pesticide in vegetable agro ecosystem. This is one problem, is contamination of our fruits and vegetables. I have observed this problem in apple orchard also. Our maximum apple growing area in Himachal Pradesh as Uttarakhand, farmers generally use the pesticide on the calendar basis. Calendar basis means every week or every 15 days. Uh, they don't bother about the whether insect is there or not. Sometimes for killing of the natural enemies, some for killing of the beneficial insect, they use the insecticide. So it have the adverse effect of the natural enemy fauna in our agro system. Due to continuous dumping of the lethal chemicals, number one ill effect is contamination of our food commodity. Number second ill effect is development of the resistance among the all insect species like that. It has been reported that in Indian subcontinent, most of the insect sucking insect like the white fly, aphids, thrips, they develop resistance against the all group of insects like the organophosphate, organochlorine, neonicotinoid, and the organocarbamates. So particularly against organocarbamates, these aphid whitefly develop resistance up to the 100 times. Against synthetic pyrethroid, these insects develop resistance against the 1,000 times. So this is the burning scenario, how our insects particular insect fauna develop resistance against the chemical group. That's why farmers are unable to manage the pest in this agro ecosystem. So many questions raised by the farmer in our interactive program. We conduct the interaction to the farmers. Generally, farmers say that we are unable to manage the pest. We had spray the imidacloprid at particular dose, but we are unable to manage the pest. This is the serious problem. Why farmers are unable to manage the pest at a particular dose of the chemical? So we just think about this. Why? So major reason is development of the resistance among the all group insects, all group of insects against the chemicals. So due to continuous dumping of the, due to injudicious dumping of the lethal chemical in the ecosystem leads to the development of the insecticidal resistance. This is the prime factor, and we have to manage this resistance. Second burning issue is elimination of our natural enemies from the particular ecosystem. So elimination of the hymenopteran parasitoid, that hymenopteran parasitoid, predators, parasite like that, which naturally which control the insect pest population in our ecosystem, they are going to eliminate out. This natural enemy fauna is reducing day by day. And third most interesting fact is reduction of pollinator population due to this chemical pollinator population. So once we can say some farmer came to me that, sir, we are unable to grow the cucurbits in our area, besides of having very good seed. So we went that area and observed that there is a depletion of pollinator fauna in the particular area. I could not see the any honeybee and other hymenopteran fauna in a particular area. So this is the, we can say, continuous use of the lethal chemical. Elimination of the hymenopteran fauna is also a great problem. So I have pointed out this issue in the four categories. First is, number one is development of the resistance against all the group of chemical in majority of the insect. Either it is the Lepidopteran, Dipteran, like this. Second is development of, second is contamination of our food commodity like that due to injury system. Third is elimination of the natural enemy, and fourth is elimination of the pollinator. So we should focus on this. We should have some policy to chalk out this problem. And I am working in this area like that. So I am conducting the trainings, demonstration among the farmer field like that. And although it's difficult to train the farmer, but if we conduct trainings day by day or via, we have our on the, we can say, radio station our Janwani. So with help of the Janwani, we train the farmers. So only farmer have to follow certain law. Don't misguided by the some agent, company agent. You have to open your eyes because you have to save your nature. You have to save your crop. The crop is not only some thousand plants. It is an agro ecosystem. We have to give strength to this ill-fated agro ecosystem by your own understanding. So, although I am not against the chemical, I'm not against the using of the pesticide. Pesticide is now these days prerequisite for the commercial vegetable cultivation, but time of application of pesticide is very much important. So always remember that you should stop use of the chemical at the fruiting stage. At the fruiting stage of the vegetable crop, one must stop use of the chemical. So I have developed several modules, IPM modules for the farmer. I think we have to serve, we are here for the farmer community. So we have developed the certain modules for management of these insect pests. So prime criteria is just you should not, farmers should not use the pesticide or chemical after, we can say, flowering or at the time of the fruiting. Suppose in case of the brinjal, so we can use pesticide at the initial stage so that the adverse effect of the pesticide should not be at the time of harvest. We must follow the waiting period at least 15 days. If the farmer use the chemical, that must, we can say, follow the follow the waiting period of certain pesticide. At the initial stage of crop, we can say that in chili, brinjal, tomato, all the solanaceous or other group of crop, one can use the pesticide at the initial stage. At the one or two spray is sufficient. In my vegetable research center, like that, I have grown the brinjal without use of the chemical, and it has a very good quantity, like very good yield was there. I have observed, particularly brinjal, chili, tomato, like that. So if there is need of first you go first we have to go in field and check whether that insect is really occurring, insect incidence is there in the field or not. If insect incidence is really low, really economic injury level, one should not use any chemical. One should not use any chemical. If it is there, I think in particularly one or two spray is sufficient. And we have to use the green label pesticide. Green label means daclofit, thiamethoxam. Certain green label pesticides are there having the very less waiting period.
So,
So one must use the yes,
sorry, I have a question here that when we
yeah.
talk about the surveillance, that who
Hmm.
is the nodal agency who take care of the surveillance of pests in for
Yeah,
like
yeah.
vegetable pest or for fruit pest? Because
Hmm.
as you mentioned, the farmers just dump insecticides on calendar basis or following the recommendations by the company agents. But when you do your stakeholder engagement programs, as you mentioned, you interact with farmers, you listen to them, you train them, then where did you see the discontact in between?
Yeah. So particularly in our scenario, in Indian scenario, every district have its own Krishi Vigyan Kendra like that. This is branch of the university that have only we can say function of that Krishi Vigyan Kendra is to serve the farmers. So we generally conduct research in our farm, and this is our basic research to find out the economic threshold level of a particular crop. Here at Nagar area, we have developed the particular. We have conducted the research on the we can say economic research threshold level. We have conducted survey and surveillance of the pest. So every university have data of the I think major pest. Right? So just like Helicobacter pyrrhizara, we have recommended that one insect per crop. When you see the one larvae per crop, you should spray the chemical. For whitefly, because whitefly is spreading the various diseases like that, aphid spread the viral diseases. For whitefly, it's also three whitefly per plant like that. For aphid, it is like the eight or nine aphid per plant like that in potato. So every university have its data. Every university or ICR center, there are several ICR center. They have the information about the pest when this pest is coming like that, surveillance like that. So we have also developed the forecasting model. We can predict the incidence of the insect in a particular region. Ah, either in case of the disease or in case of the insect also. So we can predict the incidence of the insect on the basis of the various abiotic factors. So on the basis of the temperature, humidity, rainfall like that. So there is a forecasting model. So at least we inform farmer like that. You should take care. You should take care of these insects. Suppose fall, armyworm become the major pest in this
Yeah.
region. It is exotic pest. So we just we can say publish this information in newspaper and via our forecasting system like that. If fall armyworm may create the problem in the particular region. So prophylactic measure one should spray that chemical for management of particular insect
So
especially.
speaking of fall armyworm,
Yeah.
whenever you recommend pest management, or as you mentioned, you have done great job in developing the formulations, helping the farmers. When you make some recommendations for either pest management or, as you said, integrated pest management (IPMs), what are the results which you have achieved after your recommendations, and then how they have been translated to the field?
So our recommendation is based on the Central Insecticide Board data. So CIB data is available everywhere like that on the basis of Central Insecticide Board data. we may recommend the management of the any insect, and there is a data of the chemicals, insecticide, fungicide, weedicide, particularly in the for the Indian subcontinent. So, and after our recommendation, really farmer follow our recommendation, and generally on our after our recommendation, farmer use that particular chemical, and it would be really beneficial to the farmers. Generally, farmer may prevent from the trap of that particular company agent like that if
That's
farmer follow our recommendation.
that's I think that is the real success of any researcher
It
when
is
we
there, it
say,
is there.
yeah.
But we have to do a lot like that.
Mm-hmm.
It is a challenging task. So continuous work is needed in this continuous field work is needed in this area because those company and other people have much money.
Yeah.
They are rich people. They have much we can say they are much powerful to us like that.
Mm-hmm.
Intensive marketing program is there. We are conducting
True.
intensive program, so we have to fight for this.
No, so and here I would like to tell all of our audience and viewers, whosoever are in real contact with farmers in India, that waiting period, as Dr. Ravi said, is a very important parameter which should be considered without failure for any vegetable crop you are talking or fruit crop you are working with, because these are the things, it is almost equivalent that you are serving those chemicals in plate directly. Because if you're just putting the insecticide on the vegetable, the day of the harvest, what you're doing is like necessarily just giving that insecticide to the person directly. Because as Dr. Ravi mentioned, if the half life is 60 days and then you are serving the vegetable in next 2 days at the table of a consumer, then essentially what you are doing is the worst thing you can do to humankind. And the second one, so Dr. Ravi, you started as teaching after your PhD, then went to research in senior scientist position. Now you are doing research and teaching at professor level in entomology at GB Pant University. I would like to ask which part of this, like teaching and research, you like or enjoy the most?
Yeah, really, I like the teaching. Teaching is my passion. That's why I left the ICR job, research job, and again joined the Nagar University. So in our university, we have freedom to do the research also, as well as I'm guiding the PhD students. So I'm doing research as well as teaching. But I like teaching most.
Nice. So I have seen in your introduction, and when I was reading about your thing, that you have visited many countries like Nepal, Thailand, Cambodia, Austria, Hungary, USA. So you have been to different countries. If we can talk about the quality of research they do, or because India is the leader in agriculture, everyone knows India is like agriculture based country. So then when now we see that when you are representing India or you're presenting your research in all these countries, how the interactions went there and then how the world looks us at.
Yeah, it's very nice question that because problem of agro ecosystem, I always say the problem there is a problem in agro ecosystem is different in India because we have pressure of population. This is a major aspect. We have to do much work to maintain our agro ecosystem like that with respect to the other countries. We have population pressure. We have to produce more in a small area like that. This is the problem with us. So that we have to invent new things. These problems, we can say, originated due to the population pressure, in my view. So suppose in USA they have the you can say large area, Australia, Europe, they have a very good area of production like that. And we have a small land holding. So in a small land holding, there is a challenge to produce the quality food for
Mhm.
our the population, quality food. in Indian scenario now, we have surplus of food commodity, either in pulses, cereals, fruit, vegetable. But now challenge is quality food production. Quality food means without contamination of any chemical. Or now we are shifting slowly. We have to shift this production to the organic, like, or natural farming. Our government is focusing on the natural farming or the organic production. So this is the challenge, particularly in the Asian country. India and China also facing the same kind of problem. We have population pressure.
So this brings us to our next question. The challenges faced because of high population, we have already covered, as you mentioned, that we have surplus production. So production is not the problem. The issue is now the quality of the food, what we are talking about. And when a researcher like you gets all these challenges, has these pressure, how do you deal with that pressure?
Yeah, it is there. There are a lot of pressure, and you know that if population pressure is high, there is certain kind of mismanagement, that there are several loopholes. I accept these things, that there are several loopholes in government system, particularly in every country loopholes are there, and some certain we can say agent or certain person get advantage of that resource. So we have to work hard. We have challenge is there, and we have to raise our voice. But finally, we have to work on the policy instrument like that. Now, this is my latest work is to create the policy instrument on the basis of this data. So I'm working with the one French scientist. We have the Global Food Security Center in our Nagar. There is a Global Food Security Center with collaboration of the French scientists like that. Dr. Samre is the president of that. We are working on the, we can say, policy instrument. In policy instrument, with the help of certain data, we will raise the issue. First, we will publish the paper in the reputed journal, and that we can say journal, that data is sufficient to we can say give uh, raise the issue, raise this burning issue, and to we can say tell our voice to the farmers, to the government.
So this brings us to next topic, that whenever we have our researcher celebrity on the platform, we have seen, and most of the common general public also believe that researchers are not very good in administration, or the policy making, because someone else is making policies on the basis of the data you have. But when we see researchers like you who do the bench work and then do the pilot studies, and then still, yeah, the active role in policy making also, this is what is required at this point of time in India, I must say that. And then a question for you. So starting from the wet lab work, working in the lab, and then in the greenhouse because you work with plant system, then suddenly taking the role of, managing construction also, administration,
Yeah, it is
and
right.
all of that part, and now doing policy making. So how do you see, or let's say, what are the suggestions you can make on basis on the personal experience which you gained over so many decades, for the new faculties or for young researchers, that what are the qualities they should imbibe as early as they start research?
Yeah, for the new faculty, generally working in the area of agriculture, that if working in the agriculture universities or any area, first we have to seek the problems that generally our farmer is facing. What is the problem in the farmer community, or what is the problem in our community if that person is not working in agriculture? So first we have to observe the problem in our community or farming and start to work on this like that. So it would be give you great pleasure to serve the person like that. When you enter in the community, definitely you will feel the that pleasure to serve the farmers or any community like that. And being an Indian like that, we have problems like that. We have problem in our community, problem in our farming system. So there is a great challenge, great challenge. And next is understanding. We must understand the theme of the science like that. You must develop the scientific attitude. You must have the scientific attitude for solving any problem. So first, being the, I think this is my recommendation to the selection committee or the this administrator. First, judge the person having the scientific attitude. So if any person have the scientific attitude, they may really develop the good institution, or they may really develop the good organization. So administrative quality is, although it's not needed, but scientific attitude is needed. If really you have the good attitude towards solving any problem, you would be a good researcher. And I think the administration of a scientist is not a good challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier task to manage the scientific community.
Mm-hmm. So now when we are walking towards the edge of the conversation, I would like to ask you a couple of questions, like when you have gone through so much of experience, okay, in research, and then from the initial days when you were a PhD student, and now when you are mentoring the PhD students, what are the things which you can share to our young researchers who are planning to pursue a research?
Yeah, it is there. Uh, we have to think, we have to, we can say, follow the innovations, new innovations like that in the scientific field. Uh, First thing, in my view, before start any research, 60% we can say time should be, we have to reserve for the
Yes.
study or review. Review is very much necessary. Huh?
Mhm.
60% is review or study. After that, we must start the research.
Yes.
So I have seen that so many researchers just start the research without reviewing these things. Huh? So, and if really we are spending so many times and money, so we have to start the new thing. We have to work research on the new, really new aspect that
Yep.
which would be benefited to our country, benefited to our region like that. So study is very much needed. Review is very much needed. After that, we have to plan the experiment. Sincere planning is very much required. So, and finally, execution.
Mhm.
So, reviewing is very much necessary, and perfect planning is needed. And this is my recommendation to the researcher that they just, we can say, they just apply good statistics on that particular research.
Mhm.
Okay, so data analysis is very much required, and these days, very good softwares are available to analyze the data. So finally, we have to focus on the stat like that. We have to apply good stat to analyze the data. So first, going through the problem, review it, apply science on this, read the books, and then execute a particular problem. And finally, just apply the good stat on this.
No, that was, I think, the best way to put, and I would like to tell all the viewers here that Dr. Ravi just figure out the best way you should plan your research, either the PhD or postdoctoral research, or even for faculties. It is true that review, plan, execute, and do the great analysis. And the last thing, that's how you get anything in a shape of a publication. So with this, we'll say it was very enlightening for me, and I believe for our audience also, to have you at the platform, sir. And with this thing, I will say thank you on the behalf of Empowering Science Foundation and becoming our researcher celebrity for today. Thank you very much, sir. And for
Thank you.
all the audience, I'll say that stay tuned for another episode of Researcher Celebrity. And if you want to write to any of our Researcher Celebrity, for today, Dr. Ravi Mohan, you can Google them, you can write directly to them, or if you want Empowering Science Foundation to bridge the gap, please feel free, write it to us, and we'll put you in touch with our Researcher Celebrities too. With this hope, all I'll say is, for the viewers, enjoy your passion, enjoy your research. And to Dr. Ravi Mohan, thank you very much, sir, for taking time out
Thank
of your busy schedule to having this conversation with us.